Well, a concert in Duluth today gave attendees the opportunity to hear music crafted over a century ago. Northern News Now's Madison Green attended the event that raised money to make sure generations to come could continue to hear the sounds of the beautiful Northland instrument.
The heart is the most vital organ. And in the center of Sacred Heart Music Center is its organ.
The very beautiful silvery tones, very what I call singing type of quality. But this organ has a lot of wonderful aggressive sounds to it.
But there is nothing aggressive about the crowd attending the first Felgemaker and Friends benefit concert of the season. The sound of the 126-year-old instrument is accompanied by several others. Founder of Pipe Dreams, a national radio program featuring organ music, John Michael Barone drove from the Twin Cities to attend.
It's essentially in original condition. Between the sound of this instrument, which is lovely, and the acoustics of this church, which make all of its loveliness even more so, it's fantastic. Every time I come in here and hear it, I think, this is a dream.
But keeping it in that original condition takes more than a dream, requiring money and effort.
The old girl back here needs, is 126 years old. And like us all, we need a little bit of nip and tuck now and then.
The fundraising through ticket sales and donations make it so the original sounds can continue to echo through time. In Duluth, Madison Green, Northern News Now.
And the next event at the Sacred Heart Music Center is the showing of the silent film The Phantom of the Opera with the soundtrack played live on the organ.